oh yeah, just moving, I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking. Great rising, y'all. So happy. I am lacing up my sneakers. I am running a habit lace. Uh-oh, too much on that side. Ha ha! Hey, y'all, hey, I don't know what's wrong with me in these crooked cameras. I'm gonna have to call Johnny over and see if he can help me. Because now all my cameras is crooked. Yes, indeed, I'm walking. Oh, yeah, just for me, I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking. So happy to be walking. Happy. Hey, y'all. Oh, let me turn on the machine. Thank you for the company. Get your Max. You probably already got that. You probably already got all that stuff. Well, it's only Tuesday. How is this going? I was up since 3:30. How am I here late? Oh, man. It is quite humid outside, but it looks like it transferred in here somehow. Let me see something. Hold on, YouTubers and Facebook. Oh, did that do anything? Not too much. I'm trying to clean the cameras. It is humid. Okay? No raw to be seen. No raw. The clouds have covered raw. Yes, indeed. Covered raw right up. You couldn't see raw. And when I pulled back the window, it was dark. Thanks for coming on the walk, y'all. Thanks for coming on the walk. Yes. So far I'm on Facebook. Hey, Yvonne. Hey, Yvonne. I want to tell y'all why I tagged Yvonne. Because Yvonne and I met when she lived in on the East Coast. And she has since been like in the Midwest to West Coast. I don't know exactly. The region. But it's in the West. And I know sometimes, especially as you get older, you say to yourself, did I really live there? Did that really happen? And sometimes you talk to your friends because they validate it for you. They say, yeah. You worked at so-and-so and you did such and such and you were there. Or you say, I remember living in this house, and your friend will say, oh yeah, that was when you lived so-and-so and such and such. So I'm doing that for Yvonne. Yvonne lived in Greenwich, Connecticut. She worked and did everything. Had friends, traveled, saved her money, did her business. And now she's retired out there to the Midwest, to West. And I just want to let her know. I know she probably got other friends, from Greenwich that could help her with the memory. But I figured by me tagging her on our walks, because we used to do walks. We used to play baseball, remember, Yvonne? Remember we used to do all those walks around Todd Point? Yes. A lot of walking. Baseball games. Fireworks. Yvonne didn't do too much of that stuff, but just hanging out. Yeah. So, yes, she was. She was in Greenwich in Connecticut. So you remember correctly. You know, that's what I needed my sisters for. After living in that cult for those years, you gotta have to substantiate things. You know, like I hadn't seen them for 5 years, and it's almost like 3 years after my mother died. Whoa, separated. So when I couldn't wait to get out of college and run back to them, and I was like, wow, do you remember so-and-so? And they said, nope, I don't remember anything of that. It was so horrific for them, they told me, that they have no memory. And I often ask myself, well, how did they remember that I was their sister? But technically, they didn't remember I was their sister. I was a good Judy. Their kids still know me as a good Judy, not as a blood aunt. Unless somebody came through to them as an adult, they should all be in their 40s. But that don't mean nothing. They still think I'm their mother, good Judy. So I had no one to validate. I couldn't say, oh, you remember when we had bunk beds? And I was on the bottom and you was on the top. And you know, a sister would say back to you, yeah, I put you on the bottom because you wasn't peeing on me. Ha ha ha. But they both said, I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing. Nothing. You remember that time Mommy was so drunk and she had taken Freddie's car and was driving across the Brooklyn Bridge making sparks? And I kept saying, ooh, look at the sparks. Look at the sparks. I thought it was like on 4th of July. I was all excited. And my sister was sitting up front. And she was so traumatized that we all had to carry her in the house and put her to bed. But she was in the front seat, so she kept seeing what those guardrails were stopping us from, you know, meeting, which was that water. And for years she shook. Years. You couldn't even give her a teacup. Everything you put in her hand, she shook. Years. Years until adult. But when I said that to her, she looked at me and she said, I have no memory of my childhood. I said, dang. So how, like I said, so how can you remember me? But now I know they didn't remember me. I was part of that childhood. But now you see why I walk with this body, right? This body has always been here for me. I had a perfect cycle. Perfect transitions. Every transition that this body is supposed to go to, it met 100%. And I get my ass up and exercise it since I was 35. I'm grateful for this body. This body remembers. Even though those cult stages, let me tell you something, I had to find out, and I'll put it in the book, but I had to find out for myself, why was it that I was so constantly afraid? And I had to find out, by finding out, going deep in and finding what the root of the fear was. See,
back when I got into that cult, I didn't know that incesting is part of the whole cult thing. So I was initially resistant to it. And a good choking will make you more flexible. But that's not what the fear was. It was part of it. So I chipped away, pulled back the layers of the onion. But what it was I had a deep fear of getting impregnated. Because I had seen how the whole setup is. Now, in order for people to climb up, they have to step on people in cults. That's how it's done. So I was coming into their cult from the north. So there's two things. First of all, I wasn't born into the cult. I was introduced into the cult from New York from a free, independent thinking African-American woman who loved her people, who wanted education and advancement, and I was thrown in the bowels of people who hate science. So it was hard. But what the real fear was of getting impregnated. See, what happens is, down there, if you have a progressive family with this incest and stuff, but they want you to grow, they'll take the child and have it be known as your brother or your sister. And that way, you can still go and have a teen or a young adult life. If the next incesting doesn't produce another child. Now, if that second incesting, or 5th or 20th or 30th, whatever, produces a child, through it all, it's the woman's fault, first of all. Instantly, like the whole cult descends on you. You're the Jezebel, you're the whore, you're the slut, you're the this, you let him do this, you let him, you wanted it. I mean, a barrage all the time, every day. And they beat you down, and now where you going? I had to drop out of high school. Then I have no prospects. Then I find myself with a bunch of incestuous kids, hoping that one of them wind up being some kind of mentally challenged so I can get some kind of disability check. But in the cult, I will be the one that no one can save. I'm going to hell, and all the incest kids I have are going to hell. Now you say to yourself, what happens to the male of the incesting? Nothing. 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 And it's known. That's why they do it in the family. It's known. So this body that my mother came out, my mother, who said, education, she told me I was going to be a writer. She gave all of us girls a future. And then none of her future she gave us was as children. College. She said I was going to be a writer, write my heart out. We went to libraries. My sister took us to libraries. She didn't mind. You could sit down and read a book for an hour and a half. She wouldn't bother you. She liked to walk by and see you reading. That was my mother. Then I went to that cult, and books, they're unwelcomed and unwanted. So that went against everything that my mother was. So I learned to call on my mother. And I let her know as I was walking. So I was walking this body, getting rid of the anxiety, getting rid of the frustration, making it all right with me, because it didn't have nothing to do with me. I was in that position. This shit was going on long before I got here. Trust me. If I'd have got the incest memo, I'd have turned it over to the, please, the DCF, they had that back then too, in the 60s. Please, drop me in a foster home. Don't send me there, incesting. But I ain't know. So, but let me tell you how good this body is. Never produced one child. Never. Never ever. Never. So at time I had some clots that I thought was big enough for me. But I just kept walking. Nothing. I kept going to school. I kept singing in the choir. I kept working. And through it all, I called on my mother. The first time I said, Mommy, please help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. She directed me to a mental health clinic. And I got Harvard's teen group, and they showed me how to deal with it. I kept walking. And then after that was over, I found myself in a situation. I said, oh, Mommy, help me, help me, help me, help me. And I was in the Veterans Administration Hospital working, volunteering. Every day. Did you go to school? Did you go to school? Did you do your homework? Did you study? You go to college, right, Vicki? You go to college, right? So when I went home with the cult and the incesting, believe it or not, it got less and less. And then finally, the incestors was gone from out the house. And I ain't had to worry about them no more. Whew, got something in my eye, y'all. I ain't had to worry about them no more. But this body was for me. It didn't produce no kids because it didn't want no kids. But when I met my husband and I looked at him and he looked at me and I said, do you want a child? I said, yeah, because I'd always been, when my body came under my control, I used the rhythm method. So I knew how everything worked. So I said, well, if we do it this week, I'm going to be pregnant. That was a week in March, and guess what? I was pregnant. This body had my back. They dropped all those eggs in there, the cults. I was just supposed to be another cult member with a whole bunch of incest kids being spit on and kicked on and talked about in the cult as the lowest member, because they never say, oh, well, that a boy who made her pregnant is responsible. Who is that? They never say that. They never say that. That cult and down there, that Baptist, they never say that. Maybe in other cult religions that act the same, they do. the same thing. It was always, she went and got herself pregnant. She did something to him to make him get her pregnant. He wouldn't have messed with her if she ain't do something. You know, when you lay it all out there, what you expect for a man to do. This is the talk. When you talk about sex talk, this is about as much sex talk as you get in a cult. You had to do something. Because though he's a virile teenager, it ain't him. It's something you did. And now you trying to ruin him because it's your kids. But it ain't his kids. They'll instantly say, it ain't his kids. Some boy out there you whoring around with don't want to talk. I've seen it. They strip you down to nothing. And this body said, oh no. No. This ain't the way this journey gonna do. She gonna write. She gonna study. She gonna learn and learn and learn and learn. And she's gonna continue to love me, and body is absolutely right. I continue. Because all my body wants is to be exercised, dietized, and loved. And I do's it. Hey, it's time for our water break. This little 45 minutes go by so fast, don't it? Yes, well, we still on YouTube. Clap your hands, y'all. Clap your hands. Anywho, water, y'all. Whew, right?
Walking, yes indeed, I'm walking.
Let me show y'all
Just
before I forget.
I'm walking. Thank you for the company.
You'll see that?
I'm walking. I'm walking. So happy to be walking. Happy to be walking. Thank you for the company. Walking, yes indeed, I'm walking. Oh yeah, just for me, I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking. So happy to be walking. Happy to be walking. Thank you for the company. Walking, yes indeed, I'm walking. Oh yeah, just for me, I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking. So happy to be walking. Happy to be walking. Thank you for the company.
Yeah, y'all, yeah. Cool.
Walking, yes indeed.
Let's finish this walk up. Sometimes I just talk about what I think about how wonderful my body has been to me. It kept trying to make me give all the wonderful things that my body does for me, they started training me to give it to someone outside of myself. Someone that I know hates everything about me. And them too. So I studied. I stashed my books at the hospital so I could read them. And when I was working, I started stashing my books at the hotel. So I was doing nursing and stuff, so all my nursing stuff books I kept at the hospital studying. Do the playbook, stuff like that. Not home. And then at work, I would put the other books. Now, if it's something I had to study and do a report or something about that was important, I would beg my grandmother to keep my books in her room. Because my cousins, according to ancestors, they didn't have to go to school. They didn't have to study. It wasn't a forced thing. My grandmother wanted education, but not a forced education. If you can get it, get it. But she wanted you to be ingrained into the cult. You know, she was a deaconess. She wanted you married, and then she can train you in the deaconess ways, and you can give all your money to. But that's not how I was raised. I wasn't. My mother resented the fact that she couldn't go past the 8th grade. My grandma was okay with it. And she said, I know how to count and read my Bible. That's all she needed. My mother needed more. And she wanted me to have more in terms of education. And heck, if you can't get it living in New York, you ain't getting it. I imagine there's dumb people in New York because we got mountains and stuff like that. But trust me, that's a choice. So, this brain wanted to know more. Knew it was more to life. This brain. How can I not exercise and make sure it gets all the blood and oxygen that it needs? I'm so happy for it. If I could take off my head, pull off my lips, and kiss all in my brain, and put my lips back on, and put my skull back on, that'd be a great day. A great day. In my mind sometimes, I take my lips and I be kissing all over my heart. As it beat, beat, I just sit there. Because you beat for me. Ain't nobody else beating for me. Ain't nobody else's heart beating for me. Ain't no blonde hair, blue-eyed, sandal-wearing person heart beating for me. That's impossible. But my heart beating for me is possible, probable, and happens. And when I walk here, they said, listen, you don't need a lot. Go back to the old videos. I did my running and stuff like that. But then, myself said, sister, it ain't that hard. Just do that 45-minute walk for me. And I'll be happy, and I'll fight off your diseases, and I'll fight off your germs. You just make sure that that blood keeps swooshing around here, moving my antibodies from this place to that place. Hey, good morning. Moving my antibodies around. checking to see what stuff is going wrong while it's flying all around, because I'm getting it this morning. Wind up. And if it see anything while that blood and stuff is swishing around, it handles it. I get something say, Vicki, drink that. Eat that. Do you know how happy I was when I found my natural antibiotic? Do you know how happy I was? My body always knew. But when it came together for me, so I was living in Greenwich. We didn't have insurance. When my daughter got sick, we went to the clinic. They billed me $25, and I went on with life. So this time, there was this beautiful bush in the front yard, but this vine was strangling it. You could see it was just squeezing the life out of it. So without gloves, I went on a save a bush mission, and I got rid of all that strangling vine. But in the process, a thorn or something had gotten into my finger. I remember pulling it out and just going on with my rescue mission. Not paying any attention. Going on, go upstairs, wash your hands, eat. Wake up in the morning, finger is swollen. Like, oh shit. But at the same time, now I'm gonna ice it down because that's the natural thing to do. But at the same time, I'm icing the swelling down. I am craving crabs like you would not believe. I mean, crabs. I kept seeing stuffed crabs, crab legs, crab patties. I kept smelling it. It broke me down so bad. Now here I am. My finger's swollen. I got $25 for the clinic. But I don't got no money for no crabs. And if I get the crabs, I got no money for the clinic. But I'm telling you, I'm craving these crabs. Like when men get horny, they can't see anything. In front of them, nothing matters except their sexual satisfaction. That's how I was. My body would not rest until I got me some crabs. So I just broke down. I walked a mile into Portchester to this seafood, what do they call it, fishmonger. And of course, he didn't have any live crabs. And I was like, I can't leave here. He said, I got crab meat. I said, I gotta leave here with the crab. I can't leave here without it. $16. It's a pretty big can like that. Fresh crab meat. I took it home, opened the can, and I started eating it just like that in my mouth. And I kept saying, what is going on with me? Then I got some salad, and I sprinkled on top of the salad. Eating it. I'm telling you, the next day I wake up, crab on the line. I start again, I just go in and take a handful. And I'm eating it. And then, by that evening, I looked down at my finger. It's gone. There's no pain. There was no stiffness and it wasn't the ice, because it swelled back up after I took the ice off. And I remember that thorn going in. Still craving crab. So I only got enough money to get a little crab and bus fare there, because it's longer. I got to go to Grand Union. And I get to Grand Union. And they had claw meat, which is like $6 and change. And I brought that claw meat home, and I ate it. And that finger ain't give me no more problem. So when I can get hold of crabs, but that's a different crab. I'm going back over 20 years. Up here, all they got is that frozen crab and stuff like that. By the time I get the real crab, or get to a place where I can get the real crabs, they're gone. Or they don't carry that same crab meat. But when I lived in Mount Vernon, yes I did, I even got I made me crab soup. And when I would feel like something was coming on, I would just pull out my crab soup, throw back 2 cups. Of course, y'all know I exercise anyway. And that blood and that whirlwind as it's running around my body because I done exercised and got it moving, picked up that crab meat juice, swirled it around my body, and knock out all infection and anything that gets inside me. I gotta exercise this body. This body is for me. And if you can't say your body is for you, it's because that's your situation and you're probably right. Other than these 2 last blood pressure medications I'm trying to get rid of, all my life I've stayed away from that stuff. Because only they know how to take care of that stuff. That pharmaceutical stuff, that's what they study. I don't study that. My body knows nature because it's part of nature. It understands that nature has what I need. And I understand it too. I started taking supplements at 35. I told y'all that already. 34-year-old myself had it all worked out. Cod liver oil, vitamin C, and B12. And to this day, I add a little extra zinc, magnesium, couple of E's and A's. But let me slow this down some. Let me see what I'm doing. But that's what we can understand. And that's the only medicine we know to heal us. At a moment of weakness, I was surrounded by those people, the Dr. Deaths. I know if I was rude, I know hot peppers, alkaline water. But they don't say that. They don't say that. They say, here, take this pharmaceutical, because if not, you're going to die. And let me tell you, since I have been taking this high blood pressure medication, there has been several things going on. Factories not producing it anymore. Not producing that kind. You got to use this kind. But you got to go with this kind. And all I'm saying is, I want to get off this ride. I want to get off this ride. I got prescribed water pills. I never understood why. My body doesn't retain water. I sweat. But he said, take it, take it, take it. And again, That's why I apologized to my body. I said, I'm sorry. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Because in the moment of weakness, I took it. And then they said, oh, okay, I took it because I felt guilty. What if I wasn't giving my body a chance? But I knew my body kept saying, that ain't a chance, Vicki. That's a death. Doctor, death, death. So I mostly started taking it when it was a doctor's appointment time. Because I noticed it did retain my water. I wasn't retaining water. I sweat. And I noticed when I was taking the pills to stop the water, I got a little water bubble. So I said, wait a minute, this wasn't there before. But maybe they know something I don't know. So then I just started weaning my body off of it. Weaning my body off of it. I had gotten down to 2 a week. And then they came out and said, it causes cancer. They have proof that it causes cancer. Do you know how I stand here and walk in the morning? You don't have no idea? I love this body. This body told me, sus, that bubble in the bottom says, this ain't nothing, no. I think at that time, that's when we added alkaline water. My daughter said, Mommy, alkaline water. Or it could have been before. Mommy, alkaline water. So now I just want to get these last 2 prescriptions. I want them out of my whole system. And I got to find a way of doing it where what they put inside me isn't triggered to automatically start killing me. See how fast it can go from helping to killing? But I walk because I love this body. And I say, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you for stuff like this high blood pressure medication. Because anything you get on that you got to stay on for life, because that's the pills. Because I remember asking them, I was like, can heroin do the same thing for my high blood pressure that what you trying to give me is doing? And they all laugh. They all laugh, ha ha. Oh, stupid black raisin, ha ha. They didn't understand that I was asking because if that's the case, let me just go ahead and shoot up. If it's something I'm going to be addicted to for the rest of my life, why can't I choose what I want to be addicted to? And still, trust me, that heroin option is still on the table. So that's my striving now. I want to get off this blood pressure medication. I want a naturalist. And in that book, remember that big book I told you? Nothing about a naturalist. Nothing about natural medication. Nothing. Nothing. A whole book of Medicaid for care and nothing about natural remedies. Nothing. I leave it in the basement because when it's upstairs, I got to stop myself from burning it. I call that book, You're Old, You're Dying, but Make These Doctors Rich Before You Go. And you're going to take all your whole Social Security check and you're going to give it to them. And they're going to give you not a quality of life, but a quality of suffering that you'll beg for help. I've seen it. I've seen that medication. I watched them roll from end to end and beg for help because the pain was so bad. And the pain was caused from what the Dr. Deaths gave. I gotta keep that book in the basement. No, we gonna walk. Yeah, I'll be here next year, y'all, walking. And I'll be walking and talking to the few friends and family I can encourage to get that blood moving around their body so the body can heal us like it wants to. Yeah. So I'm happy. I love this body. I love this body. Always made good decisions for me. Like, did I tell you? I remember my daughter, she had an earache. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. We were living in Greenwich, but it's called backcountry Greenwich. I couldn't even get to the clinic. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. So I just said, oh, I gotta have something around here. I gotta have something. We didn't do aspirins and stuff like that. They always say how to keep your kids off drugs. Keep a cabinet full of vitamins. Keep a medicine cabinet. They'll stop even opening the medicine cabinet. Oh, vitamins. I ain't taking that crap. That's what I had for my daughter. So that's how I kept her Connecticut off drugs. Anyway. So I said, I gotta have something. I gotta have something here. I gotta. And then, remember, I always keep cod liver oil pills. And then, myself said to myself, take that sewing pin, stick it in that cod liver oil, squeeze it into her ear, get you some warm towels, put it over that ear and have her lay on her side. The next day, her earache was gone. I found out later that that's how castor oil and cod liver oil works. Maybe she had something growing there and it just broke it down. It broke it right down. It just, I know the castor oil breaks that thing down. That you gotta bump that castor oil, hit it, bam, breaks that down into nothing. How happy am I? Let's get this tin. Tuck in your elbows. Whew, let's do this. Neither up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and one for good luck. Okay, let's do the other one. Tuck in the elbows. Let's do 10, neither up nor down. Squeeze your gut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and one for good luck. Whew. I'm trying to make another picture promo for
walking. Thank you for the company.
I'm trying to take promo pictures because it's no more cherry blossoms, it's apples. But after the workout, I'm so sweaty. All I want to do is go upstairs and get out these wet clothes. The arms are all wet. Arms are all wet. That back area is all wet. Like, comment, share, y'all. Thanks for coming with me on the walk. Remember to stay for your water. Gulp and chat. Gulp and chat. Yes. Please. please like, comment, share, tell a friend, tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin.
Yes, indeed.
Wrong button, y'all.
I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking. So happy to be walking, happy to be walking.
Whew. Y'all gotta hold on. I gotta get a paper towel. I'm going blind. I can't see. So I'm sure that anyone listening, I'm just telling y'all how I do me. Y'all listen to the medical thingies. They Dr. Deaths for me, but y'all listen to the medical thingies. And they'll probably tell you that you don't release water. Oh, you got to take the pharmaceutical. There's no way you can get rid of water out of your body by sweating. But yeah, that's how the body gets rid of water, by sweating. Whoo, y'all. Yep. Finally, when you free your mind, you're able to look at things. And I'm so glad. Like I said, I tell my body all the time, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Because my body always forgives me. Y'all be looking for forgiveness from outside. Good luck with that. I look for forgiveness within here, and I'm always forgiving. Yeah. Ha ha. I never hold a grudge against myself yet. People do it all the time. But, you're called trained. That's how I was trained too. Oh, don't trust your eyes. Don't believe your ears. Don't trust your thoughts. And it was like, well, exactly who am I supposed to listen to? Who thoughts? Oh, this blue-eyed, blonde hair, long hair. Uh-oh. I was giving it a chance to do this, y'all. When a baby belch, when I used to have my daughter and she would drink that juice, and I would pat her. When that belch came up, I'd be so happy. I was like, yay, yay, yay. But then, as an adult and stuff, I learned it's unladylike to belch. You shouldn't let gas out. Then y'all walking around here looking like balloons. That's why. Let the gas out. Let the air out. Drink the water in and let the gas out. Yes. Thanks for coming on the walk. Like, comment, share, tell a friend. And I'm so proud. Hey, Yvonne. So far, so good on the Facebook. I'm so happy. YouTube always with me. Fist YouTube. Fist Facebook. You know, as African Americans, I never know us to do a handshake. I always would see it on TV, and definitely I used to see these Caucasians. But they always did a slap type thing. Always. From when I was small. And I said to myself, well, why can't y'all just shake hands? Well, guess what? Now ain't nobody shaking hands. They all doing what I used to see our community do when I was a child. Fist bump, slap, 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 slap. We never did that whole handshake, hold on to it, spread your germs. Let's finish this up. They always had, every time, sometimes you put your hand out, you never know what you're going to get back. Sometimes you'll never know if somebody's going to get a tickle, tickle, tickle with the fingers. Like, you just can't shake a hand. But we don't. Now, we can't. But we all right with that because we never did. See, you can't lose nothing you never had. We didn't have the handshake. Y'all did. Because we knew handshakes, the full meaning of handshakes. The true meaning, trust me. We always did something different because we was like, no, we ain't trusting you. We did it, y'all. And you know, this is my second quart. But I'm good. I'm good. Because I ain't going nowhere. I'm retired. I don't start moving till the afternoon. Hey, thanks for coming to the walk. Like, comment, share. Tell an uncle, tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. I'll see you tomorrow. Like, comment, share, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe.